Welcome to ranking the White Lotus characters from season 1 through season 3. So to start off, we got Armand, the hotel manager in season 1. S tier, easy S tier. This dude is hilarious, so funny. He's my favorite hotel manager that we've seen in the White Lotus. Every time he's on screen, his presence is just, I don't know. He was like one of the best characters. He might be like one of the best characters of the entire series. Like, he's just so funny. It was sad when he died, but you know, Armand S tier for sure. Okay, so all right, so on to the next character. We got Mark, the dad in season 1. Season 1, I was a big fan of. The whole character, or the whole cast, was stacked. Every season's been good, but Mark was again super funny. I liked all the scenes with him reacting to thinking he had cancer, and then just the overreaction to him. Man, this one's tough. I'm gonna put him in probably either A or B. I think he's A because I feel like the majority of his scenes were pretty funny, so I'm gonna put Mark as an A tier. Next, we have Kitty, who is the mom of Shane in season 1. She was an interesting character. I'm not sure who the actress is who played her, but she was very good at being obnoxious. I will say that. So as a character, gotta be C or D. I mean, she was pretty annoying. So I'm gonna put her as a D. She's gonna be our first D character because, yeah, she was pretty obnoxious. But fair play to the actress who played her because she did a great job. It's nothing on the actress. I'm just saying as a character, she is a D tier character. Okay, next we got Greg / Gary. If you've seen season 3, Greg, this is a spoiler warning if you've seen season 3, but I was disappointed. I thought Greg / Gary was gonna get either, you know, knocked off of the show or just go to jail because he does not deserve Tanya's money. So he is annoying, man. I'm gonna put him at D as well because, dude, yeah, Greg, I was really hoping he'd get caught or something would happen, but nope, still going off scot-free. So Greg / Gary, D tier character, not good, totally screwed over Tanya, so he's going in D. Okay, so now we're going into a season 2 character. This is the grandpa. I could not remember his name. His name's Bert DeGrasso. This is from the Grasso family. Bert was very funny. I liked Bert. I thought he was every time he was on screen, he was kind of charming. I thought, yeah, his comedic timing was good. I guess he didn't have a crazy character arc, would be my only complaint for him. I feel like of the DeGrassos, the son and the father they had more of like an arc than the grandpa. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in the B tier because I still liked him. I liked the scenes he was in, but yeah, just his character arc was probably not the strongest in the show that we've seen. And then next we're going on to the grandson. The grandson is Albie DeGrasso, the grandson of the grandpa. So Albie, I was not a big fan of Albie. Not a big fan of him. He was so like passive. He didn't feel confident at all. Like, I don't know. His character was just kind of weak. And I just didn't like how he kind of acted around Portia. So for that reason, I'm going to put him as a C tier character, honestly. Yeah, he's not my favorite. And then going on, this is another season 2 character. This was Daphne. Daphne, I thought she was an interesting character. She was very interesting. Where should we put her? I feel like you saw her. She was very good at pretending to be happy and deal with her relationship and put on a front of always being kind of like the happy person. So I don't know. Her character arc was okay, I would say. I think she's probably a C tier character. Not the best, not the worst. And then going on, we have Mia, also from season 2. Mia was one of the how do you say, escorts. She was probably the better. Actually, no, I don't know. Maybe I'll take that back. I was gonna say she's the better of the two, but she really screwed over the singer, the piano guy. I can't remember his name. So, oh man, yeah, she really screwed him over just to get the job. She was kind of dark, kind of sinister, but doesn't look evil on the inside, but she kind of, I don't know, she wasn't the best too. So I'm going to put her as a C tier character. All right, next we got Quentin in season 2. So Quentin was one of the gays in the group. He was like the main main gay, I guess you can say, of like the characters. So I thought he was very funny. I like that actor, Tom Hollander. He's pretty funny. So I thought he was a good character. He was very interesting. I kind of liked how he explained like his relationship with Greg/Gary and kind of his back and forth with Tanya. I thought he had good comedic timing, interesting character. I'm gonna put him probably in the B tier. I think he's a solid B tier character. Next we have Valentina. She is the hotel manager from season 2. She was definitely a lot weaker than Armand. I felt sorry for her. She didn't, really get her happy like love story ending in the end of the show, because she really had a crush on one of the workers of the hotel. So yeah, she was fine. Nothing wrong with her, but she wasn't like a standout either. She was kind of just there. I'm going to put her in the C tier. I'm going to move Albie, because he's not my favorite. So yeah, I'll put her right in the C tier. And then next we got the father of the DeGrassos. This was Dominic DeGrasso. So Dominic, I really liked his character. I thought he was very interesting. I feel like he really wanted to change his negative traits, and you could see he really made a mistake in his marriage, and you could see that he was trying to own up to it, trying to fix his marriage, and he actually did care about fixing it and wanted to change as a person. It was more, he kind of inherited these traits from his own dad and saw how his own dad treated women, and so he thought that was kind of the norm, and you could see him kind of pondering on that and learning that on this trip. And he also wanted to, kind of fix his relationship with Albie too. So I thought he was an interesting character. He was definitely flawed, but I liked how he kind of went over this arc throughout the season. And yeah, I thought the actor was great. So yeah, I think he's a great character. I'm going to put him as A tier. Very solid. Next, we got the mom from season 1. This was Nicole. Nicole was pretty good, I would say. She was definitely not as good as the father. She was just kind of like, she had her moments, but not as comedic as the father. She was, man, I would say she's probably like a B tier character, just like pretty good, not a standout. Next we have Cameron Sullivan, played by Theo James from season 2. Cameron, I thought, was an interesting character. I thought Theo James crushed the role, kind of playing the douchebag of the bunch, and I thought he was, kind of funny, charismatic, but also you could see his kind of like dark side too. So I thought he absolutely crushed the role for sure. I liked that whole friend dynamic. I thought it was super interesting. So I'm going to put him in the A tier. And then going off of that, in the friend group as well is Harper, played by Aubrey Plaza. I'm a big Aubrey Plaza fan. I think she's pretty much always great in everything she does. So I would say she's also A tier as well. I thought, the friend group was like probably my favorite like characters of the bunch from that season. I thought they all crushed it, and that whole dynamic was so interesting. So yeah, Harper and Cameron will be A tier as well. And then I might switch that around like there. Yeah, there we go. Have like that. There we go. Okay, so then moving on, we have Portia. Portia was the love interest for Albie. She did not feel the same towards him. He liked her more than she liked him. So I don't really blame her though, because Albie was pretty passive with it and didn't really show his confidence. So Portia, I liked her. I felt bad for her. She had to deal with Tanya kind of treating her poorly. She also had to deal with Jax, who was basically just using her. So I felt bad for Portia. I thought she was a good character. I thought it was Haley Lou Richardson who played her. Absolutely crushed it. She was a very good character. So I'm gonna put her. Whoops, not mean to put her in C. A tier. I think she was. Yeah, she was an A tier character. Very good. Very solid. Then moving on, we got Ethan from the friend group as well. Ethan, I thought he wasn't as good. So I really liked the Harper Cameron dynamic. Ethan was probably just below them. Like, he was a good character, but not quite as good as them two. So I think he's gonna be a B tier character, not quite A tier. Then moving on, we got Lucia. She was the other escort of the two girls in season 2. Lucia was, I think she was very charming. I liked her a little bit more than the other girl. She obviously used Albie, and she used her. I mean, she knew what she was doing with her work, and she got the privilege. You know, she took advantage of her situation. She got the money in the end, so fair play to her. She's obviously not a great person, great morals, but I thought her as a character was very interesting, and she was pretty charming. So I'm gonna put her probably in, honestly, I think A tier. I liked the scene she was in, so I'm gonna put her A tier as well. Okay, moving on to Jax. Now, Jax was played by Leo Woodall. Jax was an interesting one. He was the kind of main love interest to Portia. Portia liked him a lot more than Albie, and his whole job was basically to just distract her from Tanya, from the gays, because the gays were dealing with Tanya, so his job was just to keep an eye on her. He basically used her. He was not actually like in love with her or anything. It was basically just a job for him. So his character was pretty morally not the best. So Jax, he had his moments. He was pretty funny though. So I'll put him at C tier. Yeah, I think he's a solid C tier character. And then now we're going on to some season 3 characters. So for season 3, this is Kate. So Kate was one of the friends of the main 3 girls, and her name was, the actress was Leslie Bibb. So Kate was probably morally the best of the 3 girls. She was kind of the middleman. So of the 3 friends, they all kind of gossiped about each other, but she was kind of the one who didn't try to like really start it. She didn't have as much beef as the other 2 did with each other. So I kind of liked how she was a little bit more morally inclined. So I think she was a good character. I think she's a B character. I don't know if I would put her in A, but I think she's probably a solid B character, maybe like more towards the front of the B bunch. I could probably move this around, honestly. And then going on, we have Lori. Sorry, not Kate. Lori was the other friend. So Lori, I thought her arc was one of the best in the whole season for season 3. Lori, she was pretty sad the whole week. She was, you know, kind of getting a little bit bullied by her friends, and she kind of had this really nice conclusion in the end. It was very like kind and happy towards her friends, and saying how she just appreciates the small moments in life, and that's kind of what she lives for, and she doesn't need something like big external to keep living and enjoy her life. So I really liked Lori. I thought she was very interesting. Gosh, I don't know if she's probably an A. Honestly, I'm gonna put her as an A. I thought she was very good, very good. Moving on, we have Rick Hatchett. Rick Hatchett was played by Walton Goggins. He was a very interesting character. He was I feel like he had like one of the most like screen times of anyone in season 3, but he was very interesting. He had a lot of depth to him. You felt kind of bad for him. Man, I don't know. I don't think he's an S tier. Yeah, right now I only have one S tier, but I thought he was very interesting, and I felt bad for him. I think I'm gonna put him in B. I think he's a B tier character. I just don't. He wasn't my favorite. Like he he was always depressed and kind of sad and kind of miserable like 90% of the time in this season. So that's why I'm putting him as B tier. But I thought Walton Goggins absolutely crushed it in that role. So I'll put him as B. Moving on, we have Piper. So Piper, I feel like I predicted when she went to stay with the monks, I was like, she's not gonna like this. There's no way. Her mom was right. Her mom didn't want her to enjoy it, and she didn't. She realized that she's just like her family with the wealth privilege. So yeah, she didn't have the best arc, not the best character. She wasn't like particularly funny. She was probably like one of the more kinder ones of that family, I guess you could say. She's probably a C tier. She's not bad, but yeah, just kind of there. Next, Tanya. So I feel like Tanya had a lot of funny moments. I feel like Tanya might be an S tier. I think I'm gonna put her in S tier because she made it through 2 seasons. Her ending too, I think pushes her into S tier because how she went out, she took out, I don't even know, it was like 6 people or something, and then unfortunately passed away off of the yacht. But I really like Tanya. I thought she was really very funny in both seasons. Yeah, they both deserving of S tier, I would say. And then moving on, we have the dad of the Ratcliffe, or the Ratliffs, not Ratcliffes, Ratliffs, Timothy Ratliff, played by Jason Isaacs. He absolutely crushed it in that role. I really had no idea what was going to happen in that final episode, whether he was going to, take care of his family or what was going to happen. So yeah, I thought his whole dynamic with the whole week, the whole season was so interesting. I think he's definitely an A tier. Not quite S tier, but yeah, he was a very interesting character. And then on to the next one, we have Mook. Okay, so I feel like her and Gay Talk were not a good pair. She wanted some like macho guy, and Gay Talk was not that. Her vibe kind of came across as like gold digger vibes. I don't know, like she didn't really like Gay Talk for him and his personality. It seemed like she just wanted him to kind of like move up the ladder and move up in his career. I don't know, unless it was like her just trying to be like motivational and help him out, but it came across as like she was just more interested in success rather than like his actual morals and who he was as a person. So for her, I'm gonna put, gosh, I don't know, she might be, no, she's not quite D tier, but I think she's like a solid C tier character, I would say. Moving on, we have another one of the friends. This was Jacqueline. So Jacqueline was played by Michelle Monaghan. She was very interesting. I thought she was an interesting character. She had like the most back and forth with Lori. So I thought their whole dynamic was super interesting. She probably wasn't morally quite as good as Lori. So I'll probably put her B tier. Probably like somewhere in the middle for B tier. Yeah, that sounds right. And then going on, we have the brother. So this is Lachlan from the Ratliff family, played by Sam Navola. Lachlan was very interesting. You could tell from the first episode that he had some weird emotions for his brother, and it ended up panning out very, very weird, very strange throughout the season. So for Locke, I thought he was definitely dead, like in that last episode. That was kind of wild. Of what he went through, so I don't think he deserved to die, so I'm glad he didn't. But morally, probably not the best person. He's probably like more towards the top of C tier, but I don't think he's quite a B tier character. And then we have Sritala, who is the owner of the hotel. She was fine, she was kind of just there. I feel like she didn't have a ton of screen time. So I'd probably put her like D tier, honestly, just because, I don't know, she didn't feel that impactful. So I'd put her D tier. And then we have the mom. The mom was very funny from the Ratliff. This was Victoria Ratliff. Everybody probably had the best line of the whole show. Piper, no, Piper. So played by Parker Posey. She was very funny. I feel like she's close to being an S tier, but not quite. Okay, she feels like the same as like the dad from season 1. Very funny, had tons of like good lines, good moments. So I think I'm gonna put her in A tier as well. Not quite S tier, but very, very close, very up there. Next, we have the oldest brother of the Ratliff family. This was Saxon. Ratliff, I really enjoyed his character arc because, man, he started off as kind of like the douche of the season and very, very unlikable. And then he kind of had this nice arc towards the end where he was kind of trying to open up, talking to Chelsea, reading books, trying to change as a person, it seemed like. So I kind of enjoyed his arc, and I thought he had one of the better arcs of season 3. So I think and he was pretty funny too, so I think he's going to be A tier. Yeah, probably somewhere in A tier. But moving on, we have Gay Talk. Okay, so Gay Talk, I thought he was probably the nicest character for the season, and you could tell he was a very good moral person who had some good values, but he was also so dumb, and he made so many mistakes throughout the season. Shouldn't have been a security guard as a job. I think he realized that at the end, so at least he was self-aware. But man, he had some frustrating moments where I was like, dude, what are you doing? You're just in love with this girl and you're making all these mistakes. And him and Mook probably weren't even a good match because they were just complete opposites. So Gay Talk, I think, is C tier. I'll probably put him right next to Mook because, yeah. Moving on, we have Chelsea, played by Amy Lou Wood. Chelsea I really liked her as a character. She was probably one of my favorite characters in season 3. She was just so devout towards Rick, and you could see that. She seemed like she had good morals as a person. I don't know, man. She's not an S tier, but I feel like she's an A tier for sure. Like, I would probably put her, yeah, somewhere like in the middle of A tier. Yeah, she was a great character. Then we have, oh man, what was his name? I don't remember his name, I'm not gonna lie. But he was the friend of Rick. Man, he didn't have a ton of screen time, but that scene, if you've seen this show, was so wild. And just watching Walton Goggins' reaction was like, I feel like that was everybody's reaction because he had the wildest story. So that whole story, I feel like, propels him. He just didn't have a ton of screen time, but I'll put him like high C tier for that because he was very funny from that one scene. And then he had a couple moments, but yeah, he just didn't have enough screen time. So moving on. So this was back to season 1. This was Rachel from season 1. Rachel was probably one of the better characters, like for moral wise. She seemed like a good person. It was played by Alexandra Daddario. I think that's how you say it. But I liked her as a character. I thought she was very interesting, and she was paired up with Shane, was her fiance or husband. And yeah, I felt bad for her, and I was a little disappointed that she went back to Shane at the end. So not quite S. I don't know if she's even A. I think she's B. I think she's like high B tier. And then this was Rick's father from season 3. I don't remember his name. I do not remember his name. Yeah, no, I don't remember. He wasn't in it a lot. You didn't find out that it was Rick's father until the very end. So for him, gosh, I'd say he was probably D tier. He treated Rick, I mean, he knew Rick was his son. He didn't even tell him. Yeah, he's a D tier character. He didn't give off good vibes, All right, so this was season 3. I can't remember his name, but this was Belinda's kind of love interest. He worked at the hotel spa, and I thought he was a very nice man. He wasn't like in it a bunch, but he seemed nice, kind of just there. He got screwed over by Belinda, so I felt kind of bad for him. He's probably like a solid C. He's not bad, but not great either. All right, so moving on, we have Chloe from season 3. She was Gary Gregg's love interest. She did not seem like a good person. She definitely, and like you could see that even in the her last scene where she was like talking to Saxon, and she was kind of just like, I can find someone else. She just didn't seem morally like a very good person. So I'm going to put her in D tier. She can go right next to Greg/Gary. All right. And then moving on to Quinn from season 1. Quinn had probably the best arc in season 1. I thought he went from this like iPad kid to, you know, full just living in the moment, enjoying the island, enjoying, you know, actually spending time with people and doing an activity rather than just looking at a screen. I thought his arc was great. He is definitely an A tier character. I thought he was great. And then moving on to Shane. Shane was so ridiculous. I thought his whole banter with Armand was so good. He was horrible as a person and definitely was kind of like the douchebag of season 1, but I thought every time he was on screen, it was just so ridiculous, so funny. So I'd probably put Shane as an A tier as well. I thought he was a great character. Not as like a good person, but just the presence he brought was really funny. Then we had Paula from season 1. Paula, she didn't seem great, and she kind of like, it seemed like she felt bad for, you know, the staff who was like the locals, but then she also had like the privilege of having wealth and money and status and like that kind of stuff, and she didn't like treat people necessarily that great. So I'd probably put her like C tier somewhere there, because like, I don't know, she didn't seem like the best person. And moving on, we have Belinda. Belinda was, so she was really good in season 1 and honestly throughout most of season 3, but her ending, as soon as she gets the money, the greed gets to her, and she does exactly what Tanya did to her in season 1. She does to her love interest in season 3. She does him kind of dirty and lets the greed get to her. So I was like, dang, disappointed. But she's a good character. She's probably like somewhere B tier. She was not bad. Probably, yeah, B tier character. And last but not least, we have Olivia from season 1. Olivia kind of came across as like the bratty, spoiled girl with tons of money, but then kind of like looked down on her mom for being successful, even though that's like she had all this wealth. So she was not the best moral character. I'd probably put her like C tier, somewhere like in the middle of C tier. And that's gonna wrap up the White Lotus characters. We only got 2 S tier characters. I feel like they are deserving of it. Let me know what you guys thought of my rankings. What are your rankings? Would you put any of these other characters in S tier, or do you think I had my D tiers spot on? Let me know down in the comments. Appreciate the support. Hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.